2 of AirgunWebTV, where we're going to get into a lot more airgun reviews with airgun expert Rick Utzler and travel to new hunting locations with the airgun scout Cecil Bays. We've even brought in a new guy, Aaron the Barbarian, to get in on all the action. Now 2016 is going to be a great year. We're going to look at some great new air guns and get in a lot more hunting too. So join us here on AirgunWebTV, where we're going to test them, we're going to shoot them, and we're going to tell you all about it. It's a great time to be an airgunner. Hey guys, welcome to AirgunWebTV. My name is Rick Utzler.
And I'm Cecil Bays.
Today we're going to take a look at our first review product for this season, the Hatsan Gladius. Stay with us, we'll be right back. All right, Cecil, let's get started.
Yes.
First thing that I love about this gun is how it comes packaged.
Definitely.
This case is standard.
Yes.
Which is very, very cool, you know, to have everything nice and compact and put together so well.
It's molded, your scope fits in there and everything. Right. It doesn't come with the scope, but when you add one,
it's all set to go. So let's go ahead and take it out here. The first thing I really loved about this rifle, Cecil, is all the rails.
Yes, it's got plenty of tactical rails, Picatinny rails for flashlights, bipods.
Bipods, and this will make it a little bit easier for us to actually talk about this today.
Yeah. This is the full featured bullpup entry for Hatsan. They also have a bullpup that has less features, but this is definitely the Cadillac of the Hatsan bullpup line.
All right, so this is their top shelf gun that they've got going on right now. What they've done is, unlike some other folks that take an existing model and sort of retrofit it, they actually built this one from scratch. So what you're looking at is not a hodgepodge of AT-44 or BT-65 or something else. This is actually built from the ground up to be a bullpup. And they've done some really cool things with it. One of the things you're going to find is that this is a much larger air cylinder. So your shot count has gone way up on this gun. And that's very, very cool if you like to go out and do a lot of shooting. Especially if you're out there hunting, that's very awesome.
Right, well, and the power adjuster adds to that too.
Just gonna get to that. Yeah. The other thing they've got here is you see, you've got a 6-way power adjuster. Again, new for Hatsan, the ability to sort of set what you wanna do. If you wanna shoot target practice in your yard and be super, super quiet, you put it on 1 or 2. If you wanna clear out a pest in your yard, put it on 3. If you want to go out and shoot at 50, 60, 70, 80, 90 yards where you got power level 4, 5, and 6 at your disposal, and it's got some very good performance at each one of those power levels. It's very distinct, the kind of velocity, the average velocity you're getting, so that's very, very cool.
Yes.
There's some other features, like it comes with 4 magazines. Right out of the box, you got 40 shots on board. You've got a fully adjustable stock. This raises and lowers. It's kind of tight on there right now. There we go. But you just spin it, this goes up, it goes down. You've got the stock which goes out, it also moves up and down. This thing is completely customizable on top of everything else.
Yes.
When you shoulder it, it just sits there.
Yeah, it's definitely balanced well. And it fits nicely with the new Hatsan scopes.
Yep, that's another thing also new for 2016. We talked about this a little bit before. Hatsan has come out with an Optima line of scopes. They already had their basic Optima. They've really expanded that. This is their SFT side focus scope. This is a 6-24. I really like this scope from the field or just target shooting. It's really good. Great glass, 30 millimeter. Just
edge glass reticle.
Yeah, and it's illuminated. It's got all the features you would expect, and the price point's really, really aggressive. So the Gladius is going to come in a couple different formats. It comes in a short version and a long version, which is typical Hatsan, right? Mm-hmm. This is the long version, so you get a little more power, and it is, of course, a little bit longer. All of them are shrouded, so you have a fully shrouded. There's some suppressor components up here and that barrel shroud makes them very quiet, even on high power. Mm-hmm. It's very shootable in the yard.
Yes, very backyard friendly.
So we've got availability in 177, 22, and 25 caliber. So if you want to target shoot or you want to go do some serious hunting, there's going to be one of these that's going to suit your needs. Let's take a little break. We'll come back. We'll start talking about performance. Hello and welcome to a new segment we're calling From the Blind. My name is Rick Utzler.
And I'm Cecil Bays.
And this, of course, is AirgunWebTV. Today we're going to have just a quick little talk about the new Hawk This is the new Air Max scope. We saw this at SHOT Show.
Yes, we did. They've rebranded, they retooled, and they've went through and improved all their scopes and brought some old ones back, took some ones that they had and rebranded them as different scopes.
And they actually took some of the best features that we really like. For example, the AMX reticle, which is something you would find on like the Air Max 30. They brought down to a budget scope. This is an etched glass floating reticle. It's the AMX reticle. Really, really nice setup here. And it's relatively inexpensive. It's around 200, right in that range, maybe a little bit more. But a great budget-conscious scope. And it's got an adjustable objective, and I like the way they've done this instead of the whole thing moving. It's kind of this integrated system, which is pretty cool. They've also changed, like you said, Cecil, they've gone to more like the endurance style.
Exactly, and I really like the feel and the tactile. It's really sticky, and you can adjust it easily.
All in all, a really nice scope. They've done a great job at hardening this scope and really making it very robust, even against some very powerful gas ram springers like this Diana 340, which we're going to get to later here this season. For now, that's it. Cecil, anything else?
No, I think we're pretty good.
All right, that's From the Blind. All right, Cecil, so it's time to go ahead and get some crony numbers. Now, we've loaded up with the 15.89s, right?
Yes, we have.
And we're using those guys because they have really proven out to be the most consistent in this particular rifle. We do have some other options, however. We have the 15.89s, the 18.13s, and the new jumbo monsters, 25-something grain and a 22. We're going to get a baseline with the 15.89s across all 6 power levels, and then we'll go ahead and shoot some accuracy tests.
All right, that sounds good to me.
Go for it. You're on power level 1, right?
Power level 1, yep.
Okay. .487. .485. Give me one more just for giggles. .489. That's extremely consistent.
Yes, it is.
And this is not a regulated gun.
No, it is not.
So it's unregulated, but it's still putting out that kind of consistency. That's great. That's right at just over between 8 and 9 foot-pounds, 8.3 to 8.6, which is, that's still suitable for like pesting in your front yard if you need to take care of a rat or a squirrel or something up close. It'll do it without a problem.
Like taking care of something in the garden real quick.
Yep. And target practice, 10, 15 yards. That's going to give you some really good, consistent, very, very accurate groups too.
Yes,
so that's great. Ready to go to number 2?
Yeah. I really like how the magazines are right here. You can just pull one out, put another one in, and you're good to go.
Excellent. Okay, now go ahead and clear it, Cecil, so we make sure we have a good, clean read on power level 2. Oh, that was good. 611. .617. Give me one more. .615. Talk about consistent.
Definitely.
We're not dealing with really having to find that super sweet spot in the pressure either, because we just filled it up and we're just shooting.
Exactly. Yeah, it has that, with that larger capacity in the cylinder, it adds to that consistency.
They've done a great job by really tuning this. So, you know, we went from 8.5 foot-pounds to a little over, well, to about 13.5 foot-pounds. So it's a good jump. Now at that power level, shoot, you can hunt rabbit, hunt squirrel, do whatever you want.
Definitely.
No problem there.
Move it on up to 3 power here. That is nice how it has the detents there. I really do like that.
Makes it consistent. 728. Now we're at 1870, 18.7 foot-pounds. 723. 721. I mean, that's really, really consistent, right at that 18.5 foot-pound average. So that's a nice jump.
Yes, it is.
At that power level, you're really looking at being able to extend your range to that 35, 40-yard distance. So that's really ideal.
Yes. Yeah, it gives you that little bit more distance out there to be able to hit game.
All right, let's go ahead and step it up. Power level 4.
All righty.
806.
That's a pretty good jump.
821. There we go. That's where we want to be. Maybe one more. 819. Yeah, that's more what I expected. That first shot was sort of in between the two power settings.
Yep.
Sometimes you got to clear one and then it's more stable. We're right at 24, almost 24 foot-pounds, 23.79.
Yeah, that's pretty decent for 22. That's not bad.
That's raccoon, woodchuck, prairie dog,
Possum.
There you go. You're in that sort of small to medium-sized game area.
Right.
That's excellent. Now we're talking about some real versatility here, from target shooting at 8 foot-pounds to now pretty good size that small to medium-sized game at 24 foot-pounds. All right, Cecil, power level 5. Let's see what we can get out of her now.
All right, let's do it.
$910, almost 30 foot-pounds.
Yes.
$914, getting closer. $906, so that's right in there. 29, really 29 foot-pounds, a good average on that one. That's really pushing it. So I've been out all day toting this bad boy around. It's got a great shot count, but I gotta tell you, it's a little heavy. Fortunately, it's got a sling, so we're good to go there. We've been out for a few hours, and man, it's been tough going today. But I managed to get lined up on one that was sitting still, 75, 80 yards out, one shot, drilled him right in the head. Really, really awesome. This Hatsan Gladius, man, it's deadly accurate. I really like this rifle. Tremendous shot capacity too. You're looking at probably 50 to 55 shots. I'm running power, I guess I'm sitting here on power 5. So with the ranges we need today, you can throw it up on high power and definitely have plenty of accuracy and range and energy when you get to your target. This will get it done.
It's a great time to be an air gunner.
You're right, it's an awesome time to be an air gunner. Well, we got one more power setting to go. Let's go ahead and crank it. All right, full power. $980. $982. $977. We're looking at right at almost 34 foot-pound average.
That's not bad.
And that's smoking.
Not bad at all. Yeah.
Now, I got to tell you a secret.
Okay.
I've tuned that rifle.
Ah, yeah.
No, what I mean by that, guys, is that when I got this rifle, it was shooting really hot. In fact, it was shooting well into 1,000 foot per second, which is what this was rated to do.
Yes.
But you could actually detune this a little bit, and I found that turning the power down, I got a much better shot curve. Cool thing about that is that you can do this without taking it out of the gun. They actually built that adjustment right here, reduced the hammer spring, and it really evened out that shot consistency. So the numbers you're seeing here are perfectly attainable.
Yes.
And it's just a small adjustment. You get your chronograph and you can do it. The benefit to that is that I'm getting 50 to 60 shots across the power levels. The lower powers, 60 good shots. The higher powers, 50 to 55 solid shots. That's pretty darn good. Out of an unregulated gun,
Yes.
I'll take it. And you could do that without any serious modification. It's just an Allen screw. It's that easy.
Right. And the key part of that is you really want to have a chronograph so you can measure where you started off with and where you've gotten to. Because without a chronograph, you're just guessing.
Yeah. If you don't have a chrony, don't even try it. I can't tell you turn it this way and turn it that way. No, you gotta have a chronograph. You gotta tune it yourself.
Right. Every gun's going to be slightly different.
Yeah.
Every spring's going to be slightly different. So.
But I thought it was important to mention it because the gun is rated for over 1,000 feet per second.
Yes,
And it definitely did that when I got it. But I personally would rather have a lower extreme spread and have better consistency then that little bit extra power. For me personally, that was my choice, and that's why I did it.
Definitely, yeah. Accuracy is king.
It's number one. Yeah. And speaking of accuracy, it's time to shoot some targets.
Yes.
All right, stay with us. We'll be right back, and we're going to shoot some accuracy tests with the Hatsan Gladius. All right, Cecil, so we're set up at 25 yards. I'm going to let you do the shooting. Go ahead and put a few shots. We're shooting for groups now.
Yep.
So just aim, as you need to, but aim 1 through power level 6. Let's see what we can do here at 25 yards, and just do 3-shot groups should be sufficient.
All right, yeah. We got plenty of aim points on these Birchwood Casey targets, so.
I do love the Birchwood Casey targets. You want to go dead center first?
Yes, let me go ahead and put her on power level 1.
Excellent.
And then we'll work our way up to 6.
Okay. Gosh, that's quiet.
Oh, yes, it is. And it's quite accurate.
I got to shoot well?
Yes. I was aiming dead center with the crosshairs on that, and I hit just a little low, aiming at the bottom left.
Is that
same hole?
3 in the same hole again?
3 in the same hole again in power level 2. Power level 3 in the center bottom.
Okay.
And that's aiming with the first mill dot above the crosshair.
The wind doesn't even matter, does it?
No, not at 25 yards at this power level.
Sweet.
All 3 touching right there.
All right.
Okay, so we'll go to power level 4. Got one more in this magazine. I'll switch magazines.
I love the versatility of this gun, man. And you're able to, just by knowing the mill dot and knowing the gun, you're able to maintain pretty close to bullseye on that.
Exactly, but I'm not using the same exact aim point on the scope.
Right.
And that's the important part of spending time at the range, spending time with your gun to get to know it before you take it out to the field. That way you get out there, you can make clean, humane kills if you're hunting.
Sweet.
And you can win competitions if you're shooting competition. That one opened up just a little bit.
Okay.
That was power level 4. So power level 5, we'll go ahead and shoot at the green dot in between the 20 and the 18.
Okay.
On the top there.
Are you still aiming a little bit low?
I'm still aiming a little bit low. I'm using that first mill dot above the crosshair.
Okay.
Giving it a couple seconds in between shots to make sure the air has time to equalize. Even though you don't have a regulator, sometimes it helps to just give it that extra second in between shots.
A little bit of a pause. Did you put all 3 touching in?
All 3 touching.
Sweet.
So let's go ahead and put her up to power level 6, and we'll go to the one in between the 16 and the 20.
Or you can zip it out
Yeah,
there.
you can definitely hear the difference when you get to power level 5 and 6. And just in impacting is a lot more authoritative. And that was actually 3 of them through the same hole there.
Wow, that's awesome. That's pretty good shoot, man.
Yeah, this thing makes it easy.
Man, that's just from 1 through 6 to have that kind of consistency is impressive. Well, Cecil, the wind's starting to pick up.
Yes.
So we're at 40 yards, wind's picking up. We're going to shoot power levels 3, 4, 5, and 6. Same
Exactly.
drill, 3 shots each. and let's see the contrast between the 25 yards and 40 yards.
Right.
And the different power levels.
All right.
Go for it.
Go ahead and do the same thing. Start at the center, then we'll use the ones on the bottom.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't see from here, so how did that shoot?
That shot pretty well. The third one went a little bit high.
Okay.
Probably about, looking through the scope, I'd say maybe a ½ inch high.
Oh, that's not terrible.
But
Okay.
not horrible. That's at power level 3, so
All right, let's crank it up to 4.
could have been affected by the wind a little bit too. Okay. So we got power level 4 on that bottom left target.
Okay.
Definitely picked up a little bit there on the impact. I'll go ahead and keep the same aim point though to get a good groove.
Okay.
Yeah, that's 3 touching.
Retouching at 40.
Yep.
And you're gonna have to, if you were aiming dead center.
I was aiming dead center. It came up a little bit.
Okay,
I should have
'cause of
aimed with that. Exactly.
All right. So you're gonna use the mill dot above the crosshair now.
Exactly.
Perfect.
Yeah, that's not a horrible group. It opened up a little bit and it jumped a lot higher, but that's that change in velocity. That arc, that ballistic arc is a lot more pronounced out at that distance compared to 25 yards.
Okay.
It's definitely makes, knowing your gun is
gonna be important.
Exactly. This is the first time I've really shot it at that distance, so we'll go ahead and swap out magazines and shoot power level 6.
Now, are you going to aim a little bit lower?
Yes, I'm going to aim a little bit lower. I'll go ahead. Well,
like the second mill dot or something?
Yeah.
And you've zoomed in too, so when you were at power level 3 on the scope using the first mill dot.
Yes, it's different than using this first mill dot. It wasn't, actually right now I'm at power level 10, so it's a 10 power scope. Well, it goes up
16 power scope.
Goes up to 16, but the mill dot is 10 power.
Okay.
So it's a 10 power reticle, to be correct. And so the mill dots are correct mill dots at 10 power.
Okay.
So bottom right hand target, I'll aim with the second mill dot above the reticle, or above the crosshair. That's just about right.
Yeah, pretty much there.
It opened up just a little bit more, just a fraction more it looks like.
Yeah. Okay.
So
what do you think as far as, what do you think our best power setting is going to be at that longer range?
Probably 4.
Yeah, okay, that's my favorite for that range too.
Yeah,
okay.
5's not bad. It did open up, 5 and 6 did open up a little bit at that range. So maybe, you got a lot more power, but maybe you want to stick with around that 25 to 30 yard range, maybe? With the 15.89s, maybe a different pellet would do better. You know, you have to try different pellets to figure out what's going to work.
There's so many options with this thing. You can spend a lot of time. It's unbelievably flexible, and that's why I like this gun so much. Well, Cecil, it is that time.
Yes, it is.
It is time for us to give it our AirgunWebTV Airgun rating.
Yes.
Now, there's 4 things we talk about. The first thing is performance. Now, performance is about, does it meet the manufacturer's performance rating? Does it actually hit their marks without a doubt, it does that.
Yes, velocity, accuracy, shot count.
Yeah, so it's all good there. We're gonna give it a solid 9 for that. It doesn't like blow it out of the water or above the manufacturer says it'll do, but it definitely hits those marks. We give it a solid 9 there. Next thing is the accuracy. I think we've shown it's pretty doggone accuracy, so what do you think?
Yes, definitely. I really don't think it's a 100-yard gun.
No.
But within that 50, 75-yard range, it will more than be accurate.
You know, one thing I hope to maybe get with Hatsan on is that we've got the 22 cal. It is available in 177 and 25.
Yes.
And I'm wondering that extra power, there's like 5 and 6 and 25 cal. I wonder how that would do at longer range. That may be the ticket.
That might actually reach out there to 100.
So if you're like a 40 to 50 yard, 60 yard shooter, the 22 is more affordable and the ammo, it may be just perfect for you. If you want to stretch it out, I bet you that 25. If you want to shoot at 100 yards, I bet 25 is the way to go.
Definitely.
But as the 22 for accuracy, I'm going to give it a solid 9.
Yes.
I mean, it really, really, you find the right pellet, you know, the right power setting, and you can shoot like dead center all day long. So that's awesome.
We've demonstrated that.
All right, so the next thing's going to be the shootability. And that is it easy to see that repeatable accuracy? Is there anything about the gun that kind of maybe not quite like so much? Right. I'm going to give it an 8, and I'm going to tell you why. Okay, now, why are you giving it an 8? Well, it's heavy. It is heavy. If you're using this in the field, you're going to know it. It does have a rifle sling, that's kudos to Hatsan for always having that on there, but it is pretty heavy, and I don't know that it needs to be that heavy, but have I said it's heavy?
Yeah, you may have said
all right,
that.
It's heavy. And it's also, the balance is a little bit odd, and what I mean by that is when you're shooting it, whether from the shoulder or from a bench, it tends to be a little top heavy, and you don't have a choice but to get the scope really high because you just can't see. If it's so low, you have to crane your neck so hard you can't see it.
Right, maybe a little bit taller rail on here would help.
Maybe a little taller rail, but it's still, the scope's still high. It still gets that center of gravity a little bit higher than I'd like, and that will cause it to actually wander a little bit on your shot groups. It takes a lot of practice, so for the shootability, I'm going to give it an 8.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Okay.
It just, the weight and the height, the center of gravity being a little bit high does kind of make it a little bit harder, especially shooting off the bench. Yeah,
shooting off the bench, and on a bipod, there's a little bit of flex in there too. So, you know, doesn't make it a bad gun at all. No, not at all. But there's just some things when you get into it, you're going to want to just be aware that it's going to take a little extra patience to really learn it. Now we get to the value, and frankly, I think they've knocked it out of the park with the value. It's under $1,000. It has every bell and whistle that an air gunner would want. It's tunable, the hammer spring's tunable without having to tear it apart. Variable power, multiple mags, high shot count, removable cylinder, suppressed barrel, Picatinny rails. It's got everything but the kitchen sink. For value, I think it deserves a 10.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I mean, it's totally redesigned. It's a totally new design for Hatsan. They've got all the features that you can imagine or want in this gun. Yeah, value, they're in spades.
Yeah, I think that is really awesome. You get to other guns that sort of try and get to this feature set, and you're $1,500 to $2,000. So value out of the park, absolutely a 10 for that. It gives us an overall rating of 9. So our AirgunWebTV Airgun rating for the Hatsan Gladius is a solid 9. What do you think?
I think it's great. Hatsan had been being asked, or people were asking Hatsan for a long time, get us a bullpup, get us a bullpup. Well, it took a little while, but they wanted to do it right, and they obviously have done it
They did a great job with this, absolutely. Well, Cecil, that's going to wrap up this review. Thanks for coming out here and doing all that shooting today, man.
Oh, it's so hard.
Twist your arm and all, right?
Yeah.
Well, guys, this is Rick Utzer with Airgun Web and AirgunWebTV.
And this is Cecil Bays with Airgun Scout.
Thanks for watching. Coming up next on AirgunWebTV, well, guess what? You're just going to have to wait and see because it's our first special feature of 2016. This is going to be a good one. AirgunWebTV, where we're going to test them, we're going to shoot them, and we're going to tell you all about them. It's a great time to be an air gunner.